will reach the right people. This comes on the back of concerns raised by some members of the Peasant Farmers Association over transparency in the disbursement of the Bretton Woods institution's support. Ahead of the 2024 budget statement, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, has admonished the government to abolish some taxes which have contributed to the current harsh economic conditions. According to FABAG, consumers in Ghana pay more than 100% tax on food and beverages, which has significantly hampered the quality of life for the average Ghanaian. And on the international front, the Israel-Hamas war is likely to hurt other economies in the Middle East, including Egypt, Lebanon and Jordan. International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said on Wednesday, tourism will likely take a hit as the cost of ensuring the movement of goods will go up.
Well, thank you for staying with us. Straight into our first story. Now, the customs monitoring team at the Eastern Corridor has seized over 11,200 wax prints and 6,000 mobile gadgets that were being smuggled into the country by traders attempting to evade taxes. Officials estimate that the duties and taxes on the fabrics alone would have exceeded 1.3 million cedis.
According to the team, the trader responsible for the wax print had declared only 98 pieces in an attempt to evade paying duties and taxes on the goods, which is suspected to be imitation wax. The wax prints were intercepted at the Dabala border post in the Volta region during routine spot checks by officials of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. In a separate operation, officers at the Dwapong post also intercepted the 6,000 mobile phones and tablets, which are yet to be evaluated.
We will slash it to 11,000 exactly. 11,000 full pieces imitation wax. We'll be talking around 1.3 million Ghana cedi without penalty. So if they are imposing 100%, that will be times 2. Normal taxes to 1.3 million Ghana cedis on this. The mobile phones, we are yet to get a value because we wanted them to pick a sample, so that we'll get the value. We don't have all the values unless we go to the sector.
The division further highlighted the challenges faced in effectively carrying out its mandate at the borders.
We need logistics. We need men to come back because the borders are vast and they are porous. And when we close one side, another portion is opened. And before we get to know it's open, there would have been a lot of goods coming through. We do arrest rice, oil, and the like. And we have a number of informations that are, Togo is now decongesting their port. So a lot of vehicles are likely to come in.
Michael Obodu, 3 Business, Aplau.
Let's stay a while longer on this subject, and joining us via Zoom is tax consultant Dr. Alex Ambabing. Thank you for your time. Now, first off, isn't it quite interesting that we are getting such developments at the port at a time where domestic revenue mobilization is crucial to the country's economy?
Well, this is not something surprising. Tax avoidance and evasion are really very high in the country. And as you saw recently, when the Ghana Revenue Authority started implementing the electronic invoicing system, you also the resistance from traders and supermarkets. Again, the results of this exercise showed how high VAT increased, close to over 100% in the first quarter. So that should tell you that there's real revenue in the system. What is the way forward now is about being able to identify the key areas where avoidance and evasions do occur. The issue of tax avoidance in the ports or evasion in the ports is also very high. In 2020, there was a World Bank report that shows that the tax gap at the ports is about 33 or so %.
Well, it's quite interesting that you speak about these issues, but then what would you recommend as a measure to check these happenings at the ports, especially in the crucial times we find ourselves now?
The first is to apply the very fullest of penalties, because in Ghana, within our tax laws, every tax evasion has a corresponding penalty points, which range from lower, middle to the upper end. And I think issues like this involving over 2 million, about 2.6 million Ghana cedis estimated revenue loss. This is huge at this very critical time. And therefore, I believe that the only way out to deter others, one, is to impose the heaviest of fines, possibly confiscate the items. I mean, I think there are specific sanctions and much tougher sanctions as provided for by the law. And it's not the time for a big man to make a phone call to make sure that traders just evade or pay just a minimal tax. No, the idea of detection and fines is to impose a strong punitive measures or penalties to deter others.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Alex Ampabe. He is a tax analyst who's been sharing his perspective on a recent bust by the Customs Division at the country's borders. We hope policymakers take cues from some of the things he shared. But meanwhile, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, has expressed concern about the influx of smuggled goods on the Ghanaian market, blaming the situation on high taxes and excess import duties at the ports.
Most of the goods that are brought in the country are on suppliers' credit. Some of them that are also produced locally by our industrial players are on interest rates hovering between 30–40%. That is the reason why some unscrupulous businesses have adopted unscrupulous means so that they can be able to cut down the cost of the product so as they can sell them at lower cost so that they can have quicker turnover. Even though we are English-speaking country, we have French label goods all over the market, which goes against our labeling requirements. What it means is that these goods were meant for the French market, and they have been brought into the English-speaking country. How did they come in? If they went through the authorized ports of entry, they would have been regulated, controlled, and they would not have been allowed to come in because they do not comply with our labeling requirements. But yet they are in the market, sold below the landed cost of most of the goods at the ports. All because the taxes are just way too high and people are finding various means to survive.
Well, let's now turn our attention to the currency markets and bring you updates for the day. You see some marginal upward movements there in the price of the dollar. Yesterday was about 11.48. Today it's at about 11.8. We'll see how it fares for the rest of the week. That will be all for today's edition of Business Brief. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Michael Obudu. Thank you for watching. As always, please stay safe.
But Ejano yensebu gas. Why? Yensebu gas. By the way, so all den kakra.
Ending.
Into no. Ebefa. I pick it. Yes. Agbani dos. Me bo mu din sa anso me mamu. I say